Who knows samz? One of the funniest guys. He's a normally this editor, but he's also doing his own kind of videos. And he made a banger. The unknown history behind CS2 terms. For example, when you type 1G, blah, 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 something happens in esports, you say 1G. Some of you guys don't know what it means. He has the example, the exact moment where terms that we are using every single day while watching Counter-Strike, while it happens, he found all of those clips. And some of those, I think I don't even know. Here we go.
If you've played Counter-Strike, there's almost a 100% chance that you've come across most of these words.
Ace, Skins, B-Hop, Kobe, Bogdan, 1G, Smurf, Elo, Scout, Frag, and a lot more.
At some point.
Here we
Have
go.
you ever asked yourself, what does an ace actually mean? Or why do we call the SSG array a scout? Or have you even thought about why we're
Wait, I actually don't know.
calling colors on a gun a skin? Well, before skins were added to Counter-Strike, the word meant something a lot more literal. Papers from animation research in the late 80s literally described skinning as the process of attaching a deformable surface to a skeleton. It's the same technical term that you'd still find in animation software today. So when video games arrived, such as
Yo, samz, you're creeping me out right now, bro. You're talking about skinning people?
a skeleton, it's the same
And while talking, you haven't blinked once. Whoa, 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 chill, chill. What is
games
this,
arrived,
bro?
such as Quake, modders inherited that language. In Quake, every character model had a texture file, the bitmap that wrapped around the 3D mesh. Those files were easy to open and edit, so you could easily give the model new colors and new clothes and basically a whole new identity. And modders called those files skins, just like the graphics engineers had. From there, the word spread into everyday software. Winamp skins, Window Media Player skins, and even browser skins. By the early 2000s, Counter-Strike itself had its own thriving modding scene. Community-made skins were just purely for fun, and they were shared.
Chad, looking at this gameplay right here, you know what we have to do ASAP Rocky? A 1.6 stream? Where we just do a 10-man and fucking 1.6? With our buddies and sauce. We do some nostalgia. Don't say L. Don't be disgusted by me. But I am disgusted if it leaves my lips. I'm not gonna lie. I have never played 1.6. I have never played sauce. I am uncultured. I'm not gonna lie. I want to do a lobby with the legends. Forest. Get Right, and everybody. And some homies. And then just a nice 10-man suck. Fury, you can join, sure. Why not?
Thriving modding scene, community-made skins were just purely for fun, and they were shared on websites like Skin Shack or Game Banana, where players could download skins, but also other game-changing mods.
Wait, Fury, maybe don't join. Maybe I just fucking invite all the legends and cast the game, just yep. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Maybe, low-key, I don't want to play, bro. Like, every time I play, it's fucking aware. Bro, yesterday the 10-man, like, we need to do the fucking adjusted HP ASAP, bro. Like, I'm not, I'm just my POV is gonna be so ass.
This was the early internet where game studios didn't actually mind if you customized their games. But then in 2006, Bethesda took it a step further and decided to see if players would actually pay for a cosmetic skin, a now infamous shiny horse armor that was for sale for $2.50. And even though it got a ton of—
Was that the first skin ever? The first paid skin?
Cosmetic skin, a now infamous shiny horse armor that was for sale for $2.
How do I get that? Oh my, Chad, I love everything about skins. I should be owning the first skin that ever existed, I'm not gonna lie. Can you still buy this?
$50. And even though it got a ton of hate, players still bought it, which then opened the floodgates for other games to sell skins, and we never looked back. TF2 got unique items you could trade, but CSGO was the first Counter-Strike game to get official skins, which were integrated with the Steam market and inventory system. But ironically, despite the term skin being so widely used across different games and in CS, it's barely ever officially used by Valve themselves. In official posts, they call them weapon finishes, not skins. It's just a really sterile term for something that was born from community creativity.
True.
And despite this, the community struck back by basically naming every third-party marketplace something to do with skins, just like today's video sponsor, which is Skins Monkey. Now, Skins Monkey is an automated trade site with tons of unique skins available, meaning you can always get the skins you want when you want them. Skins Monkey also—
Yo, bro, you're not Mr. Beast, bro. What am I? Whoosh, whoosh, boop, 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 whoosh, whoosh. Yo, chill, bro. You're not Mr. Beast. Yo, bro.
has a 30% deposit bonus, but using code samz—
I'm not gonna skip it, bro. He's my homie, bro. It is, and his bills are kind of high. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, he is not making millions right now. I'm not gonna lie.
just by clicking the link in the description, you'll get an additional—
And it ain't a gambling site.
5% on your deposit. And if it's your first deposit, you can also get up to another $5 extra for free using code samz. On Skins Monkey, if you ever have any problems or questions, their 24/7 live support is always there to help. And also make sure you guys are checking out the freebies section to get free balance and to join all of their giveaways. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check them out using the link in the description. The reason I actually had this video idea is because I had no idea why pros and casters would call the SG553 a krieg. But luckily, the kriegs are—
Am I stupid? I also don't know. It has to— Chat, krieg is a German word. It means war. I'm guessing it has something to do with World War, where it was like the most meta weapon. Where, like, I don't know, like every country was using The SG553 maybe in a World War or something.
Is actually just really simple. Back in the Counter-Strike beta, there was a rifle for T-side called the Krieg 552, and there was even a CT version, the Krieg 550 Commando. Both names aren't real-life gun names, but come from the German word Krieg, meaning war. The guns themselves were, however, based on the real Swiss SIG SG550 series, where the SG stands
Bro, it's not trying to get demonetized, bro. The fucking Nerf gun, bro. Wait, I need my pen.
for...
Huh? I can't circle it, GG.
Where the SG actually stands for Sturmgewehr. I can't say the fuck. Where SG actually stands for
Sturmgewehr,
which is German for assault rifle.
Sturmgewehr.
The Krieg appeared in every major version of Counter-Strike up until CSGO, where it was replaced with the SG553. But since the two guns were almost identical, both scoped rifles based on the same family of weapons, players just kept calling it the Krieg. But yet the name Krieg for the SG553 hasn't actually ever been officially recognized in CSGO or CS2. While Krieg is mainly said by older players, saying Scout is used way more in CS2 today. Back in the Counter-Strike beta, there was...
I'm guessing. I also don't know this one, bro. Am I clueless? I'm guessing the Scout... It's good for scouting. Someone has long range barrel. You see vision. It's like a hunter on a hunting monument. So when you can zoom in, like Middle Dust 2, for example, with the Scout, you're scouting. Do people go B to B?
A lightweight sniper rifle called the Schmidt Scout, a fictional name but based directly on the Steyr Scout, a compact Austrian bolt-action rifle. The Schmidt Scout first appeared in 1999 and then it went on to show up in every major version of Counter-Strike.
I'm still right. Because why is the Schmidt Scout called a Scout? Because it's used for scouting.
And then with CSGO releasing in 2012, the old Schmidt Scout was just replaced by a new model, the
samz,
SSG08. And because the gun was practically exactly the same, players from Source and 1.6 just kept calling it the Scout in CSGO. And even Valve eventually leaned into it. With Operation Hydra in 2017, they released the game mode Flying Scoutsman. From what I can see, this is the only time that Valve have ever actually called it a Scout officially since CSGO came out. So unlike the Krieg, Valve have actually given this term some credibility.
Wait, what was that? How is he going so fast? There's got to be a cheat.
Well, that's called B-hopping. But long before B-hopping existed, players were already finding ways to break movement physics in games. For example, in GoldenEye and Doom, players...
I know nothing. Why is B-hop called B-hop? Wait, pause a second. Bunny hopping. Yeah, bunny hopping, but... Yeah, because it looks like a bunny hopping?
figured out that using Pythagoras' theorem, you could go faster by holding two keys at once because of a bug in the game code that calculated your velocity vector. This was just a poor math.
Now I'm questioning everything, bro. I'm 0 out of 3, bro.
Oversight from the game developers, but it continued being used in games for a long time. But in GoldenEye and Doom, there wasn't a jump button, so B-Hop's story really starts with the release of Quake and the Quake game engine. There were two main problems with Quake's engine that led us to the B-Hop. Problem 1, Quake lets you gain extra speed in the air by strafing. The engine just keeps adding velocity, and it's boosted even further by that diagonal movement bug like we saw in GoldenEye and Doom. But that velocity just resets.
How sexy is movement, bro? Chad, I used to play a game based on a Quake engine. I never played Quake itself or whatever game he just showed. Is it called Quake? It is called Quake, right? I was playing, bro. Oh my, I'm about to cry, bro. I showed this before. Like this is my childhood game where I have thousands of hours. When I came home from school, I played this. I played Mother-Suckin' Urban Terror, bro. Type 1 if you know it. And it has what the fuck was that? And it has the same type of movement. Like if you strafe, you get hella speed, bro. Basically unlimited speed. And they also have movement maps. They have fucking surf, no, but they have KZ. They have zombie mode, everything, bro. Oh my god, Urban Terror, bro. The Quake engine is so sexy, like strafing. Oh my god. I love it.
That's once you touch the ground, again, due to friction. What makes a B-Hop different from just a strafe is a continuation and...
Bro, Urban Terror was so much more fun for movement as well, like compared to maybe this. You could hop off the wall. Like you could jump towards the wall and then kick off it. And you kept all the speed. So you could do crazy shit, bro. Like across the map in the seconds. I have to show this. Guys. Sorry, bro. Sorry. No. Hey, are you mad at me, bro? Are you mad at me if I show you some fucking sick-ass gaming history? Look at this. This is one of my favorite videos that could make me cry. Look at this movement, bro. Boom. And you can slide. You have so much velocity. This map, you can do hella crazy shit. And I could do this too. The kick jump off the wall. Boom. Like Batman. I could cry right now. It's not even the edit that I was looking for. This one is chopped. There's one that's even cleaner.
Increase of that velocity, leading us to problem 2.
I could do that, bro. When I was young, I did that shit.
The only moment that Quake applies friction is at the start of the frame when your feet touch the ground. But if you manage to jump before that code executes, the code doesn't change the player from air state to ground state. It just still thinks you're airborne. So no friction is applied and you can continue to gain speed. So if you can execute these jumps in a row, the speed increase is just exponential. And in Quake, it wasn't that hard to hit these jumps back to back. And as you can imagine, this technique became wide.
But I have a question. In Quake, he said it's not that hard to hit those jumps. Was it also meta to use scroll wheel to jump, to hit clean B-hops? or did that just like come with CS? No bind? Just spacebar? Huh. Check.
Widely used to increase speedrunning times and in PvP, so players needed a term for it, and most used the term strafe jumping, and that was it. But I think I actually managed to find the moment when strafe jumping first got called bunny hopping. In this web archive from 1999, I found a series of comments from id Software's lead programmer John Carmack. He comments on how despite players practicing it, strafe jumping is still a bug, and that he was worried that trying to remove it would actually impact the way normal walking worked. But most importantly, he points out that the game was designed for players to be badasses with big guns, and says, I'm just gonna get cancelled. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sigourney Weaver don't get down a hallway by hopping like a bunny rabbit. John further commented, This is a personal preference, but when I play online, I enjoy more when people are running around dodging rather than hopping. So from this 1999 extract, we see the terms bunny and hopping used in 2 sentences. And then I came across another entry from a few months later where John says he removed triple bunny hop protection due to it being too arbitrary. I asked John about the word and he remembered strafe jumping, but
no way he got the receipts. Hi John, blah blah blah, bunny hopping. I remember the term strafe jumping being used in the competitive community. I don't remember bunny hopping, bee hopping, so it's possible it grew out of my comments, but it's hard to say. What a guy, bro. John B. Hop.
didn't remember the term bunny hopping or bee hopping, but this is pretty understandable. These updates were posted almost 26 years ago, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Even though he doesn't remember coining it, our proof is still basically as definitive as it can get. Now, the reason we say it in CS is because Valve actually paid for a license to use Quake's engine for Half-Life, but they made so many modifications that Gabe Newell said it basically didn't use anything. They called it gold source, and essentially every Counter-Strike game that Valve has released has made bee-hopping
the boss
harder, but it was still possible. But despite this, Valve actually honored this bug in CSGO, releasing a hop graffiti in 2019 and a bee-hop sticker in 2022. Bee-hopping is a bug, and to many early players it felt like you were cheating the system, just like this guy from 2006 who called them noobs. But what actually is a noob? Noob itself doesn't relate to Counter-Strike.
What is a noob? It's gotta be some wordplay. Wait, if you reverse it, boon. What is a boon? Isn't boon a word? Like, isn't that an insult? Maybe that? Ah, a newbie. Like, you're new to the game. Newbie. It's probably that.
It's pretty important to have on this list because of its significance. Noob is probably the most universal insult in gaming.
I'm wrong on all of these.
Before gaming even existed, the word newbie was already being used in English to mean like a newcomer.
Basically, how do you guys know this shit?
Combination of newie and new boy. Newbie became standard slang for beginners online, on forums, bulletin boards, Usenet, all of that. But
you're a bot. Where did bots come from? Robot. Haha, checkmate.
As these communities grew, people needed a way to separate innocent beginners from the people who were clueless, or just annoying, or just refused to learn. That's where this split happened.
Not me.
Newbie or noob meant someone who was new but trying, and noob meant someone who should know better but just doesn't care. And that spelling shift wasn't random. It comes from leet speak, the hacker-inspired culture of replacing letters with numbers. So noob became noob and eventually noob. This was around the early 1990s, long before mainstream online gaming. By the mid-2000s, noob had become so common that games started using it officially. Tutorials warned players not.
Bro, am I the only one? Bro, why was it so cool back in the day to, like, I don't know, if your name is like crew, let's say. Bro, I swear, like, if, like, on my usernames, bro, always like or then maybe like sometimes like 420. Bro, I didn't even smoke weed. I didn't know what it was standing for, bro. It was just like, you just did it. You just did it. Bro, XX.
Or to act like noobs. And eventually it was added to the dictionary, which solidified it as an actual word. Now, what makes a noob can be determined by a lot of factors, but it's pretty widely used against players who you just don't think are good enough to be in your ELO. But what does ELO actually stand for? It's not.
Yo, this guy's pissing me off. I feel like I'm in high school. ELO. It's got to stand for something. Emergency, loser, organization. Nee, huh? I don't know, bro. Last name of inventor? Level. Elon Musk. Last name.
Not hard to believe that people think it's an acronym. Maybe evaluation, level overview, or
said that.
Or expected loss outcome, but it's actually so much simpler. ELO comes from the surname of Arpad Elo, who was a Hungarian-American physics professor and a strong chess player, and he solved a simple problem. How do you measure skill fairly? In 1960, he introduced a rating system based on prediction. Your rating says how likely you are to beat someone, and after each match, it adjusts depending on whether the result was expected or an upset. It was clean and statistical, and quickly was adopted into chess worldwide. Then in 1995, Mark Glickman added some more changes to ELO's algorithm, and in 1999 he came back and improved it again by adding another concept of volatility, which means that if sometimes you beat higher ratings and sometimes lose to lower, your volatility increases, meaning the algorithm will let your ratings swing more. This upgraded system is called Glyco 2, and it's the basis of essentially every—
I should have not watched this video, bro. This is one of the things. I'm this cringe guy, bro, who like if I have a fact like that, bro, I share it with everyone, bro. Like next fucking time I meet any one of my friends, like they will have to listen to me why Elo is called Elo, bro, because of this random dude, bro, who was like doing this chess thing, and his last name was Elo. Am I the only one, bro? Like I want to share this shit right now. Chat, did you know that? All right, you guys watch too, but
free matchmaking.
You won't remember it? Yes, I will.
Used today. Glyco's ranking algorithm by default doesn't take into account team-based competitive scenarios, such as in CS2.
That's so cool.
So adjustments to the algorithm had to be made to take into consideration the map, teammates' ratings, opponents' ratings, your round impact, consistency, and a whole host of other variables that Valve have not publicly released, which is probably for the best, so people don't exploit the system and get super high elo. Oh my god! Even though the—
Bro, imagine his name was not Arpad Elo, bro, but something like George Jefferson. And then it's like, yo, what's your Jefferson, bro? What's your highest Jefferson, bro? Nah, low-key goated last name. No? Thank you.
The word ELO is used across multiple other games.
Imagine.
Even on Face It and other third-party matchmaking platforms. Valve
What's your Zimmerman? Oh, hell no.
themselves have only ever used it right at the start of the CSGO beta. So it's just the community and platforms that use the word ELO, because it's just so easy to say. No one wants to ask them what their Glyco 2 rating is. And in CS, some of the most skilled players are those who practice KZ. Most players think that KZ is just a map
Kentucky? No. There's no J in it. KZ is jumping, like jumping map. Like movement. I'm guessing it's a clan. It's a clan. Because back in the day, clans, right? It's a clan. It's a clan.
Prefix. And they're right, but the story behind it is actually really wholesome. KZ comes from the name Kreedz, the online alias of Patrick Wright, a Canadian mapmaker who, in the early 2000s, created a brand new way to play CS, which involved jumping, climbing, and speed.
Am I the only one who doesn't know that? The whole chat was spamming Kreedz. Am I uncultured, bro? How do you know that shit? Maybe I'm too young. Maybe I'm too young. Like, I feel like only Angst know this one. You know what I mean? This is past my time.
Running maps instead of just shooting people. He released maps with the prefix KZ, like KZ Haunted House, which was his first movement map, which was actually based on his childhood home, and that map created a community that instantly latched onto those letters. At first, KZ literally just meant a map made by Kreedz, but players started using it as the shorthand for the entire style of movement. Long jumps, bunny hops, crouch strafes, basically everything that made Counter-Strike movement an actual art form instead of just getting from A to B.
Chat, KZ or surfing? Choose one, bro. I'm a surf enjoyer, bro. And what? Why is everyone saying KZ? Recency bias. Just because you saw KZ, no shot. Surfing is so nice. And you can say, yeah, it's casual. It's like not golfing, but it's mini golf. No, it's not, bro. At the highest level, surfing, trying to beat world records, it's crazy. Every single movement has to be perfect. Caffrey, the GOAT. And what's the other guy's name? Caffrey has the most records in 1.6 surfing. The GOAT. And Levi, yes, and Levi. Levi has the most in CSGO, I think, right? Yeah.
Websites like Kreedz.com and later Extreme Jumps became the main community hubs. Those two letters became the identity of the entire subculture. But with popularity does come drama. By 2005, the community had its first cheating scandals. Some sites even kept public Hall of Shame lists for court cases.
Oh, he's the first time he addresses cheating and I see a German flag, bro. Why always us?
Cheaters, and debates broke out over physics settings, things like SV air accelerate and FPS limits, because tiny differences could invalidate an entire world record. But the mid-2000s are often called the golden age of 1.6 KZ, with legendary maps like KZ Giant Bean, which does seem to have been the first KZ map to feature a timer, which further encouraged players to try to set records. And then the game started changing from CS Source to Go into CS2. The word KZ never changed with it. A game studio even made—
Nah, bro, CS2 KZ looks so sad, bro.
From CS Source to Go into CS2, the word KZ—
Why is it so stuttery, bro? Oh my god.
He never changed with it. A game studio even made their own standalone KZ game, but unfortunately it never really took off, and Half-Life 2 got its own KZ mod, but it also just never got as big as KZ in Counter-Strike. So the next time someone says I'm grinding KZ, it doesn't mean Kazakhstan, it's the legacy of a rapper named Kreedz. But on the subject of countries, our next term, frag, takes us back to Vietnam. Frag has a pretty surreal journey before it ends up in our daily Counter-Strike vocabulary. Throughout recording—
Frag? Frag grenade. Or is that also already off the thing? I don't even know.
Recorded wars, you can find scattered examples of the same thing. Deliberate friendly fire. Soldiers who turned on their own officers, usually when those officers were sending them into pointless danger. US soldiers were issued the M26 and later M33 fragmentation grenade, universally called frags. These frags had a dark advantage. They left no fingerprints and there was no traceable trajectory. If you just rolled one into your lieutenant's tent at night, no one could prove who did it. So among US troops, a new piece of slang appeared, to frag someone, which meant to kill or attempt to kill your own superior using a fragmentation grenade. For example, in 1970 alone, they recorded 209 fragging incidents, and by 1971, the term had spread so widely that Senator Mike Mansfield used fragging on the Senate floor, and at that moment, the word officially jumped from just slang into everyday American vocabulary. But the question is, how did this word leap from the Vietnam War into CS? When Doom launched in 1993, John Romero, a game developer at id Software, wanted to create a clear distinction between killing monsters and killing other players, so they came together to come up with a term for this. Hey guys, for each kill and deathmatch, we need a word for it that's not kill. Kevin said, well, maybe we could use the word frag. That sounds like a cool word, but what does it mean, I asked. In the Vietnam War, if a sergeant told his fire team to do something horrifically dangerous, instead of agreeing to do it, they would throw a fragmentation grenade at the sergeant and call it friendly fire. The explanation was someone fragged the sarge. So in deathmatch, we're all fragging each other. Exactly. I actually bought the book and found that quote in here, so like, please subscribe because this cost like £14 and it just like 40.
Yo, your ass is gonna send that book back, bro. You're like, what are you talking about, bro? Bro is for sure aiming for that refund.
So Kevin Cloud made one linguistical choice that had a
Chad, how can you just invent words like that, bro? Like they're saying like, John Jefferson, he came up with frag. Bro, can't we come up with something? Imagine 10 years from now, samz makes a video. Yo, this term was originated by Mark Zimmerman on his Twitch stream, Wizards community at ohnepixel. Bro, come on, let's, you invented gold. No, I didn't, bro. No, I didn't. You invented suck. That's not a word. Oh my god. Mein Bohrer. My Triller. I didn't invent that. I don't even know where I got it from. You don't have that kind of motion. Scheiße.
Gigantic butterfly effect. In Doom Deathmatch, where players only fought each other, the frag counter became the main scoring system, and Doom's UI made it obvious. You had a dedicated frag count, and that became the default way Doom players measured their performance. And naturally,
I never played this game.
Frag continued being used into id Software's next major releases, such as Quake, and from there, it became commonly used to replace kill, also appearing in Unreal Tournament.
Every time you take an enemy out, you get a point called a frag in gaming lingo. You can see
Why she sounds so hot?
your frag count on the left side of the screen.
It might be because it was already a popular term, or equally likely just because marketing a game that encouraged killing your friends didn't exactly sit right with marketing firms at the time. So with CS coming out in 1999, players were already using the term interchangeably with
bro, on some deathmatch servers. Monster kill, bro. I remember playing some like modded server, and it was like full like girl like ASMR like it was wild, bro. Some of those games are wildin'.
Even though CS didn't officially have a frag count, this overlap was hugely carried by so-called frag movies, where players would edit their best frags into a highlight reel. Pro teams even started using the term entry fragger to describe a player tasked with getting
God, like, you're chill.
The opening kill of a round, and as time went on, Valve actually added items to CSGO, such as the certified fragger sticker, and most recently a ton of souvenir charms containing the word frag. And moving back to frag grenades, what do you say when you throw a grenade?
Kobe!
You've probably heard that sound effect before in gaming videos and MLG montages.
This one I know, bro. Kobe Bryant.
But what people probably don't know is that that sound actually came from a Dave Chappelle show sketch back in 2004.
Kobe!
Oh, I didn't know that.
The sound effect is very likely the reason we say Kobe in CS when throwing a grenade. It wasn't just because Kobe was an accurate and great player, shooting threes and all that. This clip, and more importantly, the sound effect spread across almost every corner of gaming. And also in real life, with people saying Kobe when literally throwing or dunking anything.
Kobe! W.
And this was further carried by edits and compilations of Kobe's from pro games.
Yard area. Quick nade in there to finish off another one.
Kobe! So much so that Kobe...
Bro, I love that, like, that sticks around, you know what I mean? That the new generation doesn't get rid of that. It seems like it, right? Like Kobe, that will stay around, hopefully, for the rest of Earth, bro. So he, you know, up in the sky, boom, Kobe. Every single time.
Officially got added to Counter-Strike in 2020 with the release of retakes. One of the loadouts was literally named Kobe and aptly contained a HE grenade. But Kobe also does appear with the souvenir highlight charms, 3 of which contain the word Kobe and showcase grenade damage and kills. And luckily, kids these days are continuing Kobe's legacy.
What do you say when you throw the trash in the basket? Like, do you say an NBA player's name?
I say Kobe.
Yes, it's still
so
Kobe.
cute.
But there is a legacy that one player probably wishes people would forget, and that's the 1G. 1G's history is easy, it just comes from Summit 1G.
Yeah.
Newer players might not know that Summit 1G briefly played Pro CS on top of streaming. Pro might be generous, but it is technically true. We have to go back to DreamHack Austin in 2016, where Summit was playing for Splice as a stand-in. Splice started strong in their first map pick Train. They were leading pretty heavily, and it came down to 11-15. In that round, Summit was left in a clutch against 2 CLG players, then this happened.
The one Jason R trades it
1v1.
back, and now it's Summit in the 1v1 to try and close this out against Fugly. Fugly playing it aggressively, no, but Summit's gonna clutch it, and Splice will close out map number 1, 16-11. Oh wait, what?
Okay.
No, what happened?
Oh my god.
Oh no, Summit! No!
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Oh, Summit.
And chat, call me
After that
absolutely
round-
nuts. Didn't they lose that game as well?
CLG actually came back and took the game to overtime, where they closed it out and won the entire game. So now anytime you see a pro die to their own Molotov in game, or even their own grenades, or falling to their death, the chat will spam 1G. This is an incident that Summit probably wishes he could forget, but Valve themselves won't let it go. When Operation Shattered Web came out, we got new graffiti sprays, one of which was the
Good
1G
shit.
graffiti, further immortalizing 1G as a tradable item forever. And as if that wasn't enough, 1G also appears as the name of a loadout card in the retext game mode, of course containing a defuse kit and an incendiary grenade.
What? They would never put anything with me in the game, and they finally did!
Even the CS Twitter account has joked about Summit's incident many times, so it's safe to say that the 1G meme isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So this incident had a definitive
What did they say? If you
times.
aren't buying the 1G loader in CS retakes, you'll never get good. CS replies, the card is a tribute to an unfortunate event that took place in a professional CSGO match. It's the exact equipment the CSGO player had when said event happened. Damn.
So it's safe to say that the 1G meme isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So this incident had a definitive start date. But for the next term of this video, which is smurfing, we have to go back a lot further than 2016. The origin of smurfing comes down to 2 people back in 1996.
Smurfing?
Jeff, Schlonger, Fraser, and Greg Warp Boyko were Warcraft 2 players. But back in 1996, by default, there was no built-in multiplayer. To play games with others, you had to use software like Kali, which emulated local network play over the internet. Because Kali's player base was tiny by today's standards, people recognized each other quickly. You knew who the really good players were, and you knew if you joined their lobby, you were probably going to lose. So most people simply avoided playing with those people. This happened constantly to Schlonger and Warp. Schlonger was especially recognizable because he ran a popular Warcraft 2 website. So the two decided to go undercover, changing their names to Papa Smurf and Smurfette. So they weren't recognizable and looked like beginners, and then they proceeded to destroy anyone they faced. We don't have any video proof of this happening, but I found this pretty interesting. They used to write war stories, literally play-by-play recounting things that happened during their games. It's like a written let's play. That's the earliest proof we have.
It's crazy how we all use those words, but we have no idea where it came from. It just made its way through fucking generations, and now we're here. Smurfing. I've said that like 1,000 times, never knew what it meant.
Have of these guys.
I have a smurf myself to stomp some fucking silvers, bro. I never knew what it meant.
Using these names.
Never knew.
It didn't take long for other war stories to show up containing Smurfs. This is where we see the first
W. Schlonger and Blitz.
instances of smurfing being used not just as a nickname but as an actual term and for a negative purpose. We decided to go smurfing. Smurfing means to go make up names and kill newbies or intermediate players. At this point, people had lost track of smurfing's original purpose, which was for good players to stop getting people
Main account, bro.
avoiding their games. Instead, smurfing became a way to bully weaker players, and eventually everyone on Kali started doing it, until Schlonger finally snapped and wrote, "So the point is, you better be one of the best if you go out smurfing. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose under your real name." But this was all still limited to Warcraft 2, so how did it get into other games? A big part of that was from early internet culture. Forums were heavily used and people were already complaining about smurfing, or even admitting they enjoyed doing it. And because Kali also worked with tons of other games and had its own chat system, K-Chat, the word likely spread through these communities as well. So it's pretty much confirmed that smurfing became widely used thanks to Kali in these early forums, but unfortunately many of these forums and stuff, they just lost media, they don't exist anymore. Jeff then actually went on to work at Blizzard thanks to his Warcraft 2 website, which Jeff told me was getting 3,300 page views a day at its peak, which for 1997 was incredible. So fast forward to present day and smurfing is present in almost every major game. Dota 2 has officially mentioned it, specifically highlighting it as a big problem, but in Counter-Strike it's only ever been mentioned by third parties like Faceit. But unfortunately, despite me finding and talking to the person who actually came up with smurfing to begin with, he doesn't know why he chose to be a smurf, so I guess we'll never know. Speaking of unknown,
Wait, he asked him again?
smurfing to begin with, he doesn't know why.
This is not samz's email, right?
he chose to be a smurf, so I guess we'll never know. Speaking of unknown, our next term is Bogdan, or Bogdan's Law. We have to go back to a match in 2016
Yeah, there's a guy named Bogdan. He was low HP. He said, drop me up. No?
where a player, Bogdan, started flaming Steel for not switching weapons with him when he was low HP.
When you're fucking 1 HP, it's better to have an up than AK. You fucking retard. Steel, you're a fucking dumb fuck for not giving me the up.
You're right, dude. You're right.
More specifically,
I thought he wrote like a post about it, how it's better, like scientifically. I didn't know that he fucking was calling him a retard and shit. I've never seen this clip. No shot.
Not switching weapons with him when he was low HP.
When you're fucking 1 HP, it's better to have an up than AK. You fucking retard. Steel, you're a fucking dumb fuck for not giving me the up.
You're right, dude. You're right.
More specifically, switching from an AWP to an AK. You've probably already seen this because of Steel's reaction
You're
and
right,
the
you're
memes
right.
that came out of it.
You see, Guardian dropped it to simple. First of all, he dropped it to simple, not Bogdan!
Bogdan's Law, or Bogdan, became subject of debate between players. Some agreeing that it's worth dropping the AWP to the player with low HP, and some others saying it's stupid and doesn't really matter. But since this incident happened, the term has been used frequently by casters, and the actual action of swapping weapons happens all the time now in pro play, and eventually even with Steel himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna flash first? Yeah. What?
Bogdan's Law has been covered so much in other videos, so I wanted to get you guys some more information. And what you probably don't know is that Bogdan let the fame of his interaction with Steel get to him, and immediately started harassing women on Steam, talking about
What? Hey, you're 18? I'm almost 22. Oh, good. Why? Need to make sure I don't pull a Bluminator. Well, I like my men potent, which is why I'm with someone like Celsius. What? Do you live with... Yo, what is he doing? My dick is 6.4 inches. Huh?
his 6.4 inch dick
What
and his
the
small
fuck?
balls. So if these screenshots are real, which isn't too unbelievable judging by Bogdan's previous ESEA messages, it does seem that these Steam messages being leaked caused him to disappear from the internet entirely. And I tried asking Steel about Bogdan, and this is what I got, so I guess
No way, he just gave him the question mark. I hate to be the guy, but I've got some questions about Bogdan. Question mark.
That's what I got. So I guess unless someone watching knows something about him, or maybe even himself, we'll probably never know what he thinks of his lore. Well, here we are with our final term of the video, which is ace. The word originally comes from Latin.
Ace. I don't fucking know.
The word as meant a unit, a whole, or even just one. It became the name of Rome's most basic coin, a small copper piece that literally represented a single unit of value. The Romans also loved gambling, especially dice, and because the as was the smallest unit of a coin, it also became slang for the side of the dice which showed a single pip, the one spot. And rolling an as was a bad thing to do in dice, so much so that in England, an as, which they pronounced as ace, was associated with bad luck, so you wouldn't actually want to get an ace. Around the same time as this, playing cards got introduced across Europe from the Middle East and Asia, with the card representing the one also becoming an ace. But as card games evolved, some games promoted the ace to the highest card, even outranking kings. The most well-known version of this, a parlor game from Spain called Veinte y Uno, the ancestor of the game Blackjack. It emerged around 1611, being written about in the novella Rinconete y Cortadillo, where the ace is mentioned to score either 1 or 11, which was the first time we'd seen the ace in an actual positive way. It was now the best card you could get, so we have a divergence here. Ace used to be mainly negative, but basically thanks to Blackjack, it became very positive. But all of these changes to the term didn't replace one another. They all stuck around. So for us to try and track down the definitive meaning in Counter-Strike, we have to look at multiple different avenues. In 1915, Roland Garros and Adolphe Peugeot were the first accredited aces in military aviation history, a name given to pilots who shot down a number of enemy aircraft, usually considered to be 5 or more.
Oh, but Sam, 5 kills, that's just like an ace in Counter-Strike. It's case closed. Why do we need to know about these fucking Romans?
Unfortunately, an ace in Counter-Strike doesn't happen when you get 5 kills. It comes when you eliminate the whole enemy team. It doesn't matter if there's 5 enemies like in normal competitive, or 10 enemies like in casual, or 2 like in wingman. An ace in Counter-Strike just means one person eliminated the entire enemy team. So unfortunately, these fighter aces are only really useful here because they became icons, which impacted mainstream media, taking the word ace into people's day-to-day vocabulary. People heard these stories of ace pilots during the remainder of World War I, and in World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, even in Snoopy comics. But using ace as a verb likely gets some modern merit from Alison Danzig, a sports commentator throughout the early 1900s, who is credited with coining the term to represent a perfect serve in tennis. So it's not really a stretch to see how the phrase acing a test would mean getting a perfect score, a saying that became very popular in 1950s America. Now let's take all these different avenues of words and just stick them together, and try to find the earliest usage of ace being used in video gaming. I found magazines from 1981 and 1982 that reference arcade aces, highly skilled players who beat games easily.
How did he find this? ChatGPT? Or these like archived and you can sort it by earliest. Library has logs. Google special search. This is so cool.
Magazines showcase games such as Red Baron, where they finish their promotion with Start Your Engines, Atari Aces. This is a combination of both pilot aces and that verb ace. And it didn't just occur here with arcade games. I found this same combination with the spelling game Spellicopter in 1984, where Billy became a spelling ace as well as an ace chopper.
This is one thing that's actually nice about AI, no? Because I remember hearing it somewhere or reading about it somewhere, but it was always impossible to scan those like magazines. You know, before the internet existed, people didn't type it out and you can just, you know what it is and you put it into a database. But you have all these things in a database and now AI like can fucking transcribe it to text, no? And then you can actually browse it. Call me nuts. I've read that somewhere, no? Am I tweaking? Or was this a thing before AI? It's called OCR word. What? Yo, chill. OCR. What the fuck is OCR? Optical character recognition. But are you sure that like not a lot of them was recovered by it? Because how did they recognize like all the different fucking fonts and shit? Or if there's a stain on the page that they scanned. No, I guess you're right. All right. Chill.
Pilot. You see, there's always been crossovers between these words' meanings, but the earliest verified use of the word ace in Counter-Strike that I could find was from a frag movie in 2003. I had to sit through 8 minutes of typical 2000s effects and EDM, and then I found this clip where we see a player get 5 kills and his friend reacts with this.
Wow. Ace. Oh my god, fucking ace. Dude, you need to make a movie with that, dude. Wow, ace, dude.
The most annoying part about finding that clip is the fact that ace was said so nonchalantly.
That's music to my ears.
Getting an ace had been around forever. After tracing the word's many meanings through actual millennia, I got stumped by a single decade. I even asked Heaton where he thought ace came from, and he had no idea.
It must be very old. I don't know. Because ace, this is just something I've said old, but that's a really good question.
Anyway, back to the frag movie. It got a lot of views and likely exploded ace into the mainstream. Even early tournament casters started picking up and using the word.
He's up in the sniper tower. He's going to be able to peek both of them at once. He takes out one. Can Wally get the ace? He's going to have to go for the defuse. And Wally gets the ace.
That looks fun as shit.
And from this moment onwards, ace was just a phrase used through different CS versions, but not yet officially recognized in Counter-Strike by Valve themselves. Even in 2012 with CSGO, it wasn't official. We can see this with the first recorded pro ace in a tournament.
All of them? Is that an ace?
Yeah, that's actually the ace. I think that's we can safely say that's the first CSGO ace.
What the hell?
Tournament.
We hear the cast
this video's sick!
but the game itself says killed 5 opponents, so this just further shows the difference between community phrases and its official integration into CS. And even worse, it was never officially announced in any patch notes, but it likely came during the arms deal update when a load of UI was overhauled. We can see in clips after this update, ace showed up in game after a full team wipe. Finally, we made it, ace is in Counter-Strike. And all that history wasn't entirely useless. In February 2014, we got the first sticker capsule, which introduced the Ace is High sticker, which has 5 playing cards showing, and also was the name of a film about fighter aces. In 2016, when sprays were added, we got the Ace spray. In 2018, we got the Ace is High pin, and most recently in 2023, with the MVP banner overhaul, we came full circle. Ace round is now shown with a person eliminating 5 enemies with a lovely ace card that comes.
Call me absolutely nuts. This is the first time I pay real attention to the animation. That looks clean. But this update, like, am I the only one that now sees like this for the first time, like vividly? Bro, that looks fucking nice.
Pin, and most recently in 2023.
Never pay attention to it, like I'm locked on the next round.
With the MVP banner overhaul,
that's clean. Look at that.
Circle. Ace
Boom.
round is now shown with a person eliminating 5 enemies with a lovely.
I've gotten so many aces. How did I never how did I never pay attention to that?
Ace card that comes in from the right. So that's the story of ace. We get the solo victory from the Latin meaning 1, the 5 kills from fighter aces, the perfect wipe from tennis, the ace card from blackjack, and the combination of all of these give us the Counter-Strike ace. And then of course Valorant came along and just copied it straight away. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.
Bro, this was clean. Am I tweaking?
Killed 5 opponents.
The unknown history behind CS2 terms. Yo, samz, clean ass fucking video. Having the last name Elo and being the reason why it's called Elo is gangster as fuck. Yeah. Why do we call it SSG as Scout? Bro, I feel old. Bro, I feel young. I feel young. I didn't know any of this. Guys, leave Sam some love, bro. Leave Sam some love. Watch this other shit. He's got more shit like that.